Republicans in the House of Representatives are strongly opposed to the new spending bill. President Biden is stepping in to get a bipartisan bill passed very soon. This is the latest fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. I post several times a day to bring you up to date on breaking news in Congress. Please, friends, subscribe to my channel. Please make sure to watch until the end of this video. House GOP leaders are rallying Republican lawmakers who are in opposition to an infrastructure bill that is expected to come to a vote next week. The latest sign of partisan divisions on Capitol Hill, and a big warning for Democrats that they cannot afford large defections within their own party if they want the legislation to pass. The roughly $1.2 trillion legislation passed out of the Senate in August, with 19 Republican senators voting for the bill. The measure, which includes funding for priorities like roads, bridges, rail, transit, and the electric grid, was a culmination of painstaking negotiations between a bipartisan group of senators and the Biden administration, a process that showcased a rare example of successful deal-making between Democrats and Republicans on a major legislative package. But House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy argued on Thursday that the legislation should no longer be considered bipartisan, arguing that it is now inextricably linked with a far larger $3.5 trillion economic package that Democrats want to pass without GOP support in the Senate to address a wide range of priorities from climate change to healthcare. House GOP leaders announced Wednesday that they are formally whipping against the infrastructure bill. So if any rank-and-file members vote against it, they would be directly bucking leadership. Kevin McCarthy told reporters at a news conference, "I do not view it as a bipartisan bill any longer," adding that he will vote against it and encourage his members to oppose it as well. The $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill is separate from the $3.5 trillion package, but both are key priorities for Democrats who have been attempting to move the two items in tandem to keep their caucus united amid divisions among moderates and progressives.
Every element of my economic plan is overwhelmingly popular. Overwhelmingly popular. But the problem is, with everything happening, not everybody knows what's in that plan. For example, all those women out there who are not able to go back to work because they have a dependent grandparent or parent, or they have a dependent child who needs help, or they can't find daycare, or they can't find, look at what's happening. Well, there's a solution. There's a solution in the proposal that I put forward, and the plans we're now debating among ourselves and then debating in Congress, as is the plan, the essence of the plan that I laid out at the beginning. And so I'm confident that at the end of the day, we're going to be able to get that done. Second point I'd like to make, we talk about price tags. It is zero price tag on the debt. We're going to pay for everything we spend. So it's not, people, understandably, well, it started off at 6 trillion, now it's 3.5 trillion, now it's going to be 2.9. It's going to be zero. Zero, because in that plan that I put forward, and I said from the outset, I said, I'm running to change the dynamic of how the economy grows. I'm tired of trickle down. The trillionaires and billionaires are doing very, very well. You all know it, you've all reported it. And in the middle of this crisis, but hardworking people and middle-class people are getting hurt. And so I provide for example, a tax cut. If you have a child, you get a refundable tax credit. It's reduced hunger in America by 40%, literally for children. You have the whole notion of being able to provide for daycare for your children, getting people back to school, etc. It's all paid for. It's all paid for, but a lot of these are flat tax cuts that exist within my proposal. And they're being calculated as if the cost of...
After facing much pressure from moderates who wanted to vote on the infrastructure bill immediately after it passed the Senate, House Democratic leaders committed to bring up the bill. But House progressives say they will vote against it unless a far larger $3.5 trillion package has been passed first, which is not on track to happen by that date. So everyone, Do you think that Congress will pass a bill before the deadline? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. House Republicans are not completely united in opposition to the bipartisan bill, but the number of GOP members who vote in favor is expected to remain relatively small. House GOP Representative Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania has said that there are roughly 10 Republicans who are a hard yes on the bill, but declined to say how many more GOP votes are in play. The Internal Revenue Service and state labor departments are telling millions of Americans to repay stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. The benefits distributed during the crisis prevented millions of American families from reaching their financial brink. That hasn't stopped state and federal agencies from trying to reclaim these funds that were paid out in 2020. And for millions, the biggest issue is that the repayment demands have not been validated. Everyone, the key word for this video is water. If you would like to enter today's $100 Walmart gift card giveaway, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and also comment below this keyword. Last month, the Internal Revenue Service sent out letters to thousands of Americans demanding stimulus checks be paid back. These ridiculous letters were for $600, but others were asked to pay back as much as $2,400. In many cases, the Internal Revenue Service claimed that people were wrongly paid twice. Others, that a second check was sent to separate addresses. And the truth is, a majority of these people did not receive a second payment, and financial institutions have backed them up on it. The IRS says that audit letters requesting further information can be addressed by sending along the documents. They can be deposited digitally or sometimes resolved over the phone. In most cases, though, sending the documents or copies through the mail is the most effective way to get it resolved. As for payment requests on stimulus checks, the resolution is more complex. The IRS is instructing taxpayers to not call if they received one of these letters, but instead pay the bill, with the goal of being to recoup the money on next year's tax return. However, sadly, it's proven to be such a burden on families who cannot afford to repay stimulus checks or would not have to file taxes. Subscribe to my channel and comment below. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a very, very blessed